All right, in this presentation, I'm going to just walk you through this presentation, which we call how to create your own blockchain oil well with Ultron SUN Strategy. Okay, I'm going to keep this presentation short, and that means I'm going to run fast. Now, I will need you to pay attention, like close attention. Now, basically, what are you going to learn? We're going to first of all talk about what this is not. We're going to look at what is possible. We're going to talk about what Ultron is, what is this SUN strategy, and how can you get started immediately. Now, we need to give a disclaimer that this information is for presentation and informational purposes only. It should not be considered financial advice. We do not guarantee any specific financial results or outcomes related to cryptocurrency or blockchain investments. I mean, if you know cryptocurrency or blockchain investment, you know that we cannot give you any specific outcome. Okay. However, because the market is highly volatile and there are significant risks involved, we will expect that you also will do your own research. Okay. So now, talking about this presentation, what exactly is this and what is it not? First of all, this is not another OmegaPro. This is not another Intelligence Prime Capital. Now, I did those and I lost money. Okay. In fact, the cumulative money loss between I and a partner was more than, in fact, 280,000 US dollars. Yeah, just OmegaPro and Intelligence Prime Capital alone. I did not do CBEX. This is not another Ponzi scheme, and it is definitely not a get rich scheme. Now, if you're looking for something that you're going to make maybe $1 million overnight, this is not it. You could as well just close the presentation here. And also, there is no overnight fortune in what I want to discuss. So if that is you, if you're a get rich quick person looking for another CBEX, you can as well close this presentation now. Okay, now moving forward, it's also very important to let you know that Yield Maverick, the company I represent, okay, does not own any crypto projects. We don't have any direct affiliate relationship with Ultron or Akasha. We are just a Mavi partner. Mavi is the company that has a partnership license to promote Ultron's projects, okay? And we are a Mavi partner, all right? Now, you have to make sure you do your own research. After all that you're going to learn here today, you need to make and do your own research. And take note, we will never ask for you for your crypto wallet or your crypto account passwords or your crypto secret phrases to help you unlock anything. We will never do that, okay? Anyone that is asking you to do that or will ask you to do that is definitely not us, all right? Better take note of that. Now, moving forward, before we get started, I want to present this to you, okay? Some days ago, I asked ChatGPT, what are the top financial vehicles that wealthy people use to build and sustain their wealth? Look at it on the top right, okay, where you see the phone, okay? And ChatGPT mentioned 10 things. However, I want to share with you the top 3. You could go do that search by yourself on ChatGPT. Number 1 was equities, stocks, and EFTs, okay? The second one was real estate, and the third one was private equity and angel investing. Now, the common denominator of these 3 is that each of them presents an opportunity to use compound interest. Now, Albert Einstein, the guy that invented the light bulb, said that compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world. He said the person that understands it is going to earn it, okay? And the person who does not understand it is going to pay, all right? So, the 8th wonder of the world. The first thing that is on the top checklist of billionaires in this world is equities. Ownership in profitable companies. It leads to compound growth and dividends. A simple example is you invest in Apple, okay? In fact, there's this story of some guy who invested in Apple but removed his investment too early. As of today, he would have been worth $200 billion. Now, why? Because the company, let's say you buy the stock of the company or equity in the company when the company was valued at $1, and the company is now valued at maybe $100 million. Okay, that value, that stake you had there, maybe you invested $10,000 only, and the value of that your $10,000, you got it when the company was valued at maybe $10. Now the company is valued at $100 million. It's more or less like that money you have times that new valuation. It's ridiculous profits, okay? That's how people who invested in Amazon, people who invested in early startups, that's how they make a lot of money, by looking for an opportunity when it is still at its infancy, and then they look at what opportunity does this business present. What are they going to bring to the marketplace? Is it something that is going to make profit? Is it something that people are going to be interested in? And they do some calculation around whether this company is a company that has the potential to grow, and then they take a risk, they invest early. Now that risk means that if the company fails, of course they're going to fail. However, they look at certain indices before they make these investments, and when they make these investments, when the company now becomes big and the valuation is high and the stocks are high, they make a financial killing. That's how a lot of wealthy people create wealth. Now let's continue. Now, the harsh truth really is that in Africa, a lot of people's annual income are not really growing. I mean, just, I don't know where you are, but look at the last maybe 3 presidents in your country. If you've been around for the last 3 presidents in your country, the question is, how much has your income grown in that period? Okay, in Nigeria, for example, according to World Bank statistics, this is World Bank statistics, it says that the annual income growth in Nigeria is 2 to 3%. Okay, meaning in 10 years your income would have grown a maximum of 34%. Now, what is the meaning of that? But first of all, before we even go to the next slide, Warren Buffett, if you know who he is, one of the richest men in the world, he says his wealth has come from a combination of living in America, some lucky genes, and compound interest. Very important, compound interest. You need to keep taking note of that keyword, compound interest. So if your earning increases by 34% in 10 years, that's 2 to 3% a year. This is what it means. That means that if you were earning $100 initially, okay, in 10 years you would have earned only 134. Like your new salary will be around $134. That's what they call 34% increase. The truth of the matter is that a lot of people's income do not change every 10 years. It's the same. Only a small percentage of this world experience financial turnarounds. That's just the sad reality. And it's not because it's supposed to be like that. It's because the poor have a lifestyle that they live that will keep them poor, and the rich have a mindset that they have that will continue making them rich. Okay, and one of the things that rich people do is what we just talked about. They look for opportunities that have something called compound interest. Now, Brian Tracy said most great fortunes are built slowly. They are based on the principle of compound interest. Now, the poor do not like this. The poor want to get rich overnight, so they're always looking for something that will make them rich the very next day, and that is why they remain poor. The rich have what they call vehicles, things that make them money while they sleep, and in 10 years they get up and they have ridiculous money, and the poor is still trying to do a job to make money. All right, you do not want that to be you. World Bank statistics show that only less than 5% of Africa's population earn above $1,000 a month. Only less than 5% of Africa's population earn above $1,000 a month. So if you earn above $1,000 in a month, you are among the privileged few. There's 95% of Africa's population that earn below $1,000 a month, and that is really, really crazy. But I have a question for you. What of if you could turn $100, okay, into $23,000 or $232,000 or $1,160,000 or $2,320,000? What if you could take just $100 and turn it into this? And of course, the only way this is going to happen is by what? Compound interest. But I'm going to be showing you a way to do this with crypto such that the odds are stacked up in your favor. And I'm going to talk about how you can do that now. Now, I talked about Ultron's SUN strategy. The meaning of SUN is basically supernode strategy. Okay, and this is powered by Ultron. So there's a project Ultron is working on called Akasha. Okay, and we are going to look at this project. We're going to look at what this project represents and how you can be part of this project and how this project can make you a fortune in the next 10 years or less. Okay, it must not be 10 years. You can make a fortune in this project in the next 3 months, but you can make a massive fortune also in the next 10 years. The time frame does not matter, but let's look at it. Bobby Siegel actually said compounding is a secret of how you grow the value of investment significantly over time. So remember, I said supernodes. Okay, SUN strategy means supernode strategy. So what is a blockchain node? Okay, so a blockchain node is a computer that participates in running a blockchain network. It stores a copy of the blockchain and helps validate the related transactions. Now that is big English. I'm going to break this thing down. Okay, so but as a summary, it stores the blockchain data ledger of all transactions on that blockchain. It validates transaction. It confirms and follows the rules. It broadcasts information to other nodes, and also there are some nodes that create new blocks. Okay, called validator or miner nodes. Now the question is, break this down in English that I can understand. Okay, so a way to look at it is like a bank. Take for example UBA Bank, for example. Okay, now say the bank branch, every branch is like a node, and the bank network is like a blockchain. Every branch keeps a copy of all transactions. So if you opened an account in UBA in Nigeria, you can walk into UBA in Ghana and do a transaction. That no matter where the location, the branch is anywhere in the world, it has a copy of every user's transaction, no matter where they open the accounts. That's the idea. Okay, if someone tries a fraud in one branch, the other branches can check it, see it, and reject it. The more branches, the more secure the decentralized network. Are you getting? Another option to help you understand this is Netflix. So think of Netflix like, okay, Netflix has many servers, and that's actually the truth. Has many servers. Now in this case, a server is like a node. Every server contains all Netflix movies. So if you are in, say, South Africa and you want to stream Netflix, what happens is that your data, the movie, is going to come from the nearest and fastest server that is closest to you, which is like the nearest node. If your server is down, like one server is down, other servers will keep running. So that way, a server might be down, but nobody will notice that the server is down because there are other servers that will service customers. Okay, so that is another explanation of a node. In this case, the node is like a server, or the server is like a node, and then the entire Netflix network is what you call a blockchain. So that is how, in simple layman term, you understand what a node is. So the node keeps records of all transactions on the entire blockchain, and it relays this information to other nodes. And like you said, there are some nodes that create new blocks and create other nodes. Okay, so now that is what a node is, and nodes are not new. In fact, what I'm going to do is I probably would open my browser here and just show you that nodes are not new, because I want you to realize that this is not some new technology. Okay, so I will go to what do they call these guys? I will go to Ethereum. Okay, let's go to Ethereum website and look at Ethereum nodes. Okay, ethereum.org. Okay, all blockchains have nodes. Okay, they run on nodes. So look at it on the bottom of their website. There you have run a node. If you click on run a node, you come here. So there are different ways you can run a node. One, you can use a physical system. You can set up a physical system. You can set up your own infrastructure. Okay, that's one way. All right, and they have an explanation of what the node will do and everything. It helps to keep the network more secure, the blockchain more secure. So you can run a node by creating your own node from scratch. Okay, and they will tell you why you should run a node. Okay, however, there are also other options where you can buy a node that's already ready to go. For example, like look at this one, fully loaded, plug and play, and there's build your own. So you can come here to this dApp node and just buy a node ready to go. Okay, plug and play, do it yourself. You say buy. Okay, and you see the options. You can buy a node here for $2,150, $1,620, and there's even this last one here that's called Home and Stakewise, $1,910. Created in partnership with Stakewise, allows you to maximize your staking rewards while contributing to Ethereum's decentralization. So this is the kind of node we have been talking about in the case we want to look at now. It's a node that allows you to partner with Ultron. Okay, maximize your staking reward while you contribute to Ultron's decentralization. Now, in this case, this node is $1,910, and you can buy this node. All right, and there are different node options that you can buy here. But I just wanted to show you that this is when you talk about nodes, it's not new. It's not like it's some new concept. It's out there, but if you're not a crypto person, you might not know. So that's the first question. The second question is, what is Ultron? Okay, so Ultron is a, by the way, I asked ChatGPT what is Ultron, and it gave talking about the movie Ultron, and then it now talked about the crypto Ultron. Look at it on the right hand side. So I'm just telling you what ChatGPT say. Okay, so it's a layer 1 blockchain ecosystem. All right, meaning it's a blockchain that you build other projects on. So it can host projects like dApps, NFTs, DeFi platforms, and metaverse projects. Okay, you can always read up on Ultron on Ultron.foundation. Okay, so the native token is called ULX. Ultron is known for low transaction fees, fast processing, staking, and node rewards. It's similar to Ethereum, but with integrated ecosystem incentives like super nodes and passive earning structures. That's the unique thing about Ultron. And we're going to look at that in more depth. Like I said, you can research Ultron, and you must try and do your own research where possible. Now, I know that most times when experts want to tell you to buy into a crypto project, they just say, listen, buy this one is going to grow, buy that one, this one is going to grow. But this time around, it's not about just buying a coin and holding a coin. That's not why we are here. This is something about wealth creation. It's not just buy it when it goes high, you sell. No, the scenario here is a little bit different, because you're going to set up a scenario where the thing is minting the coin for you, like minting out the coin for you every day, so that like it's not about buying 50 units and holding 50 units, and then when the price rises you sell your 50 units. No, it's about buying in such a way that your 50 units will be multiplied every day. You'll be getting new units every day. Okay, be mining it, and then at the end of the day you will have an insane proportion. So let's go. So before we I just started talking about what Ultron is, just to give you a base. We'll come back to what Ultron is, okay? But the summary is that Ultron is a decentralized blockchain platform, just like Solana, just like Bitcoin, just like Ethereum is a platform upon which you build projects. So now I asked ChatGPT, I said, what are the top 3 things that make a good crypto project that will be sustainable and rewarding in the long term? In other words, which kind of project will be sustainable and rewarding in the long term? And it said there are 3 things I need to pay attention to. Number 1, it said was strong utility and real world use case, meaning that project, that crypto, whatever is being created, that coin must have real world use case. It's not about just buying things that the market manipulates to rise and then it falls. No, it needs to have real world use case. Now, why does this matter? I say if the project solves a real problem and offer a clear benefit beyond hype, like Trump coin was hype. What does Trump coin do? Nothing. It's just because the person's name is Trump and he was winning an election and the thing was just going up. And then people now, when the price rises, they dump it, and when they dump it, that's it. It has no hope really, because what problem is the Trump coin solving? Zero. Okay, now, but projects that are going to last long term need to have a real world use case, the problem that is solved. So it says what you need to look for is, number 1, look for a clear value proposition. They must be clear. What is it doing? Is it faster payments? Is it cheaper transfers? Is it DeFi access? Is it asset tokenization? What does this project do? Number 2, adoption in real industries, like is it finance or logistics, gaming, supply chain? And number 3, it has to be something that people will use regularly. Like maybe is it a wallet? Is it an exchange? Is it an NFT platform? It must be something people will use regularly. That's why Ethereum worked, Chainlink worked. These were projects that had real world use case. Ethereum was about smart contracts powered DeFi, NFTs and DAOs. Okay, which I don't have time to explain all of that, but there was real world use case behind Ethereum. So now, Akasha, what does Akasha do? This project we're talking about, Akasha is, okay, first of all, what's the problem? The problem right now is that there are so many blockchains, like 1,000 plus blockchains, okay? And moving from one blockchain to another right now has become a hassle. From insane gas fees, sometimes you have maybe $10 to change to another blockchain, but the gas fee you need to change it is $10,000. You want to move $10 to another network, but you need $10,000 to change it, okay? And then you need to, many times, to move from maybe one chain to another chain, you need to go like 10 conversions, 20 conversions before you land in the final blockchain that you're going to. All of that just makes it crazy. So Akasha is a solution. It's one blockchain to connect all the other blockchains, meaning you have Akasha as a layer 0. Akasha is a layer 0 blockchain. It's under the layer 1 blockchain. Layer 1 is where you have the current blockchains, like blockchain infrastructures like Bitcoin, Solana, Ethereum, and the rest. Okay, Solana now, Akasha now comes beneath all of them to allow you connect all these blockchains together, meaning you can convert easily from one blockchain to another blockchain, all right, without passing through multiple conversion processes, and also the gas fees are going to be low. This is a real world use case. Number 2, does this meet something that we'll be using regularly? Yes, because people are constantly converting their assets regularly. So this meets up with usability, something that people need to buy, not just because they want to buy and sell to make money. No, they need to buy it to convert. So it is cheap, allowing them to buy with little gas fees, to convert to little gas fees. So that creates a system where they will buy to be converting their assets. I want to convert from BNB to Solana. I want to convert from Solana to this. They will buy this stuff to convert. So there will be a need for them to be buying it regularly to be converting their assets. People are constantly moving assets from one blockchain to another blockchain, constantly move from one wallet to another wallet, from one platform to another platform. And to do this, you need something that can allow you to move your resources. That is what Akasha is going to be doing. So already you see that the solution Akasha is a problem is a solution that solves a real problem right now in the crypto space. In fact, this is a revolutionary product, which is why if you miss this, it's like missing Bitcoin. That's just the fact of the matter. If you miss this, it's like missing Bitcoin. So this will connect all blockchains. It's going to be easier, faster, and it's going to give easier, faster, and cheaper transaction costs. Okay, and to provide more shielded security, because okay, the idea here is that you don't need to move from too many, one chain to another chain, another chain, another chain before you reach the last chain. Just one movement. Okay, effortless multi-chain connectivity. All right, so that is the problem Akasha is solving, and that meets what ChatGPT said you must take care of in number 1. It must have a real problem it is solving. It's not just a coin that you just buy and hold because it's new, then when it rises you sell. No, it has to meet a real problem. That is the only thing that will make it last in the long term. Number 2, it must have sustainable tokenomics and incentives. Now, why does this matter? If the project's economy is balanced, it can reward participants without collapsing from inflation and manipulation. Okay, and there's something. They say 3 things you need to look for. Number 1, limited or deflationary supply model, which I'm going to show you now that Akasha has done this. It needs to have staking on node rewards that do not dilute value too fast, meaning the reward must not be like a Ponzi scheme, which is why I say if you're looking for a get rich quick scheme, this is not for you. This is not another 1% per day, 1% per month, also 1% per day scheme that is just ridiculous. That's the Ponzi structure. Okay, so the staking on node reward cannot work that way. It must be such that it cannot dilute the value too fast by giving away unnecessary profit per day. It's not possible. Okay, so there must also be a revenue model for that business, because that's the only way they are going to pay whatever reward they say they are giving. The revenue model for Akasha is gas fees. Akasha is going to be taking gas fees as people transfer and move their assets from one blockchain to another. Akasha is going to charge gas fees. So there's a real world solution right there. Akasha is going to charge gas fees. Okay, I showed you that already. Okay, so again, this is the offer now that Akasha is. This is Akasha Super Notes. This is Akasha's offer, and this is the offer we want to talk about. This is how you can create insane. You can turn $100 into even $1 million, and I'm going to explain how. Okay, but first of all, let's just talk about the offer. So Akasha is giving out notes just like Ethereum notes. Okay, Akasha is giving out notes. Their own notes are cloud-based, meaning it's done for you. Okay, if you notice on the Ethereum website, they had the option of you to buy the setup where you can go and do your own. Use the setup where you can build it, do it yourself, and there was a setup where you can use, like, you can buy a ready-made node. Okay, now this is ready-made node just for you to buy and start minting. Okay, so the lowest plan here is $50. Okay, 50 USDT, and this node has what we call on mode and off mode. On mode, the node will be compounding at 5%. Every month you get the 5% interest of whatever is in the node, and it is compounding. Okay, if you off your node, okay, what's going to happen is that your node is going to be producing at 2%, 5% interest also. But the difference between the on mode and the off mode is that in the off mode you can withdraw monthly. At the end of the month, you can withdraw 2% of what was minted for you. So remember, it's minting 5% of whatever is there. From that 5% that is minted, if you turn it off, you can withdraw 2% of what was minted. Okay, 2% of that 5% can be withdrawn. 3% will be added to your original balance and will keep minting at 5%. So at off mode, you're minting at 5% and you can take out 2%. Okay, and it's still compounding. On mode, it is 5%. You're not taking out anything and it just keep minting at 5%, meaning whatever is left in the balance after you add the 5%, okay, it will produce 5% of that balance again. 5% of that, whatever is in the balance after the month ends, it will produce 5% of that new balance. That's compounding. So it keeps compounding. And remember, what is it giving to you? That extra is producing new Akasha coins for you. All right, or ULX. You can either put ULX or you can put Akasha. So if you hold ULX, you can load your ULX into your node after you buy your node. Okay, so there's a node for $50, $250, $750, $2,500, $6,000, and $15,000. I hold the one of $2,500. Now, for the one of $50, you can put $250 maximum in the node. Okay, for the one of $250, you can put $1,250 maximum in the node. For the one of $750, you can put $3,750 maximum in the node. Now, $3,750 worth of Akasha or ULX. Let me not say dollars. $3,750 USDT in ULX or Akasha. Okay, the same thing for the Pro. You can put a maximum of 12,500 USDT in ULX or Akasha. You can put a maximum of $30,000 US in ULX or Akasha in the Ultra, and you can put $75,000 maximum, okay, USDT in ULX or Akasha in this Elite node. All right, so now this is the offer. Now you will not understand how powerful this is until you do the mathematics. And so I'm going to show you some mathematics at the end. You better wait and see the maths. Better wait and see how this translates into ridiculous profit. Okay, now take note. When your balance, whatever you put in your balance, let's say you put $250, when that $250 has become times 10, okay, in your accumulated balance, once it is times 10, once you minted times 10, it will stop double, like it will not be compounding again. What will now be doing, it will just be putting 5% or 6% or 8% or 10% as the case may be. It will not be, the balance will not be compounding anymore. Okay, you will stop compounding. It will just now be giving you, paying you your interest. So let's say your balance is 2,500. It will now, at the lowest, at this basic plan, your balance is now 2,500, which means it has gone times 10. The new month to add 5%, the next month to add another 5%, the next one add another 5%. It will not be compounding on the original $2,500. All right. Now, where is this money coming from? The node owners are sharing 50% of all transaction fees on Akasha Network. So if you own a node, remember, what does your node do? Your node validates transactions. Your node hosts transactions, like having a bank. It's like saying you now run a branch of UBA Bank or a branch of GTB Bank. So you are running a branch. Transactions are happening in your bank every day. Okay, those transactions that are happening in your bank, the bank is allowing you to keep 50% of the profit of those transactions. That's the idea. Say 50% of all transaction fees on Akasha Network will be shared with node owners. So the transaction fees that Akasha will make, it will be sharing that 50% of that transaction fees with node owners. Are you getting the point? So the money, that's where the money is coming from. That's why if you go up here and look, it said it must have a real revenue model. The incentive must have a real revenue model. The money must come from somewhere. It cannot come from thin air. So I hope you got that part. Now this is the biggest node, and this is limited to only 100 people, 30,000 USDT and 300,000 USDT in ULX or Akasha. Now remember, what does Akasha do? Interconnectivity. Okay, you are in Bitcoin, you want to move to another network, use Akasha as intermediary. So Akasha is collecting gas fees. So you are able to move from one blockchain to another blockchain. So it is interconnecting of networks, simple and fast connections. For each transaction, 50% of all fees are shared among all the super node owners. I hope you're getting where the money is coming from. So now, there are red flags to look for according to ChatGPT. There are red flags to look for. Number one, unlimited token supply. And this is why recently, Akasha burned 20 trillion AK1111 coins. This was 19th May. Okay, it was a major burning event. Why? Because you must avoid unlimited token supply. That's a red flag. 90% of the tokens cannot be held by insiders, which is why Akasha is opening the door for other. That's why most blockchains allow people to own nodes. It makes the network more secure. If the blockchain is the one that's running all the nodes, there's a problem. Whether it's Bitcoin, whether it's Solana, whether it's Ethereum, if you are running, all the nodes are being run by insiders, that's a very big red flag. They need to allow outsiders to run nodes. That helps it to be more secure. That helps it to be more decentralized. It adds to the security of the network, like you saw when I was checking Ethereum website. They were trying to explain why is it important for outsiders to hold nodes. Okay, so it's very important. So that is why blockchains open the doors for people to either run nodes by buying the computer systems and setting up themselves, or there are solutions that allow you to buy a node from them. Okay, in this case, this is the offer to the public, so that the system will be more secure, because outsiders are holding nodes. Okay, not just insiders, not just the owners of the network. Very important. Also, it cannot be a Ponzi like reward. That's why it is not 1% a day. If you see 1% a day, that's Ponzi has started. 2% a day, Ponzi has started. It's not a Ponzi. So I know that for some people, 5% interest per month, or 5% per month in interest and compounding interest looks like it's too small. Okay, but the truth of the matter is that that is a fair deal. Okay, you cannot, this is not a Ponzi scheme. That's why I say if you're looking for a Ponzi scheme, you're in the wrong place. So like I say, 20 trillion AK111 coins were burned. Okay, and why does this matter? As the supply decreases, each remaining coin will become more scarce and more valuable. So blockchains do this all the time. Okay, lower supply is greater scarcity. It supports long-term price health, and it strengthens tokenomics for the future. Bonds like this play a critical role in reinforcing the foundation of a healthy decentralized economy, one designed to reward committed holders over time. So even Bitcoin, go and check, go and Google it. You will see the different bond events that Bitcoin did. Go and check Solana, the same thing. Go and check Ethereum, the same thing. At certain points, they burn their tokens. Okay, very necessary to reduce supply and create limited supply to increase value. All right, so let's continue. Number 3 says you must have a competent team. I'm still looking at what ChatGPT said will help a project to be lasting and be rewarding long term. The last one was a competent team with transparent governance, which is why I say you should actually check out Ultron Foundation. So you can see the team. They have like 40 senior developers who have worked on major projects like Polkadot and other blockchains. Okay, so they have a robust team. So it says you must have the people that are publicly known developers, transparent governance or DO structure, and consistent updates with roadmap progress. And you can find all of these 3 in Ultron's website, and you could go check that out. Okay, very important. Okay, and they also talk about smart partnerships, which they have. So you can just come to Ultron website. Okay, it's Ultron Foundation. Ultron prides themselves as the fastest growing layer 1 blockchain. They are actually growing very fast because they are using marketing organizations to push Ultron. So they are not just sitting there waiting for people to discover it by themselves. They are using communities. They are partnering with networks, people that already have communities that already exist, you know, to push the blockchain so that it can have faster adoption. All right, and it is growing now. So I've tried to show you, according to ChatGPT, the top 3 things you must look for in any crypto project if that project is going to be sustainable long term. And I've also shown you the project we're talking about here, Akasha. Now, right now, based on what you have seen, you can rush out there and go and buy Akasha, okay, and hold it. And then when the price rises, because the price is going to rise, why? Because of the utility. Akasha has real world use case. People are going to need it to change from one blockchain to another blockchain. If you are in the crypto space, you already know that this is a big problem. I don't need to tell you. You know that that is a major problem, and that once that problem is being solved with Akasha tokens, Akasha value is going to begin to go up as more people begin to buy it because they want to use it, and the transactions keep flowing. Okay, so you can decide now and say, okay, now I know Akasha, I want to go and buy Akasha. Amazing, you could go buy Akasha. But again, the focus here of how you're going to turn $100 to $100 to $2 million is by compound interest, which is using nodes. Okay, it's a compounding system, because there you are not just holding it. Like you buy 33, you buy 50 units of Akasha at $1. Akasha goes to $100. You go and sell your 50 units at $100. Okay, now you have $5,000. Okay, if it took 1 year to go to $100, you held it for 1 year, it's now $100. You want to sell it and make $5,000. Okay, now you made some profit, but that's not compared to the person that held a node for 1 year. The person that held the node for 1 year, for it to appreciate onto $100, will have more than 50 Akasha, because he would be minting Akasha every day. So at the end, his Akasha is growing by 5%. So he started with 50, but his 50 is growing by 5% every day. Yours is not. That's a very big difference. That's why we talk about having a node. Okay, so now, and again, talking about compound interest, they reach a poor man says, I want to work for $1,000 a month for 10 years, and he will make $120,000. A rich man, someone that has a rich thinking, while he's working this job, he will take $1,000 from here and invest in something that will pay him 5% per year, for example. Okay, or say 5% per month. Okay, at 5% per month, not per year, at 5% per month. Okay, just 1,000 from this is money invested. He would, in 10 years, he would have made $120,000 from his active job where he's earning per month. Okay, he would have made $120,000 in 10 years, but he would have made $348,000 passively. So he would be able to go and withdraw $348,000 cash in 10 years, and he was able to use this one to feed his family and run his expenses. This is how the rich think. The poor think of only this. In other words, just focus on this $1,000 a month and just keep eating it. All right, don't invest, don't think of the future. That's how the poor is. They don't think of the future and they don't invest for the future. So the future comes and they have nothing. And the average person in the last 10 years, they have not accumulated anything. That's just the reality. Most people have not accumulated any wealth in the last 10 years. They don't have any investments that is passively producing income for them while they sleep. They don't. So the question right now is, you have two choices. One choice is to follow your fear and say this could be another what do you call it, another scam. All right, but like I've showed you, Ultron is a legit company. Okay, you can probably at the end I'll check their website also, just so you see what's going on there. And then also the second option is you can take a smart risks. And what I mean by smart risks is not to go borrow money and invest. It's to start where you are, put money where you are. Now, because Ultron is starting and this Akasha project is a new project, you can start small. You see, they have a $50 note. Okay, a $50 note means that you can buy that $50 note and load only $50 inside that note, because you must not fill up the note with $250. You can buy a note of $50 and put $10 there. It's up to you. But I'm saying, if you bought a note for $50 and you put another $50 inside the note, what is possible over 10 years? Now let's look at what has happened in some other coins, another projects that had real world use case. Okay, like Bitcoin. Okay, Bitcoin has grown by 46,000% in the last 10 years. It went from $230 to $107,000. Okay, in the last 10 years. Ethereum has gone from 0.9 cents to 2,500, around that, which is almost like 280,000 US dollars. 280,000% increase. In fact, I had a friend who told me how he puts some money in a crypto project that produced 16,000 return on investment, 16,000%. These are the kind of things you see in crypto. Okay, so but identifying a crypto that can do that is where the challenge is. Many times people are just buying to make some instant quick wins. This is not about a quick win now, even though the win can happen very quick because the project has real world utility. Now, Solana started in 2020. It is currently 5 years in the market. It is at around $172. That is 78,000%. Okay, now all the statistics around ChatGPT, they might not even be up to date, but it gives you an average. Okay, 78,000%. So right now, Akasha is already at $3. Okay, because as at when we started promoting this thing, it was at 0.98 cents. It has already gone to $3, meaning if you had $100 there when it was 0.98 cents, like $1, your portfolio value would have already been around $300. Okay, however, Akasha is still at $300. It's still at $3 right now. The question is, what could it be in 10 years? So let's do some mathematics. If Akasha hits $100 in 10 years, only $100, that means it was a failure. Because to me, if it does only $100 in 10 years, it's a failure. That means this, because this is not what I'm expecting. Okay, if you had a $50 note and a $50 deposit, this is how much you would have: 232,000 US dollars. If Akasha hit only $100 in 10 years, in other words, your portfolio, which is why I'm saying you can create an investment portfolio for your born and unborn children like me. Because the idea here is this: every child needs to have a note, at least a $50 note with a $50 deposit. Okay, let's say these children right now, they are 8 years, 10 years, 12 years. Okay, by the time, let's say the one that is 8 years, by the time she or he is 18 years, this child can have around 232,000 US dollars in their note. Now, and by the way, the note is a smart contract that lasts for only 10 years. After 10 years, you stop earning passively and you withdraw your entire reward. Okay, your reward withdraw both your original and your profit. So when you remove everything, both your original and your profit, this is what you're going home with. So imagine that you have 5 children and each child has a note worth $50 with $50 inside, and the children are, let's say, around 6 years, 8 years, 10 years. So what we are basically saying is that when the child is 18, the child could have around 200,000 US dollars in their note. Now, question: which school will that child not be able to go to if they have 200,000 US dollars in their note? Which school in the world? Okay, what kind of education, I mean, like higher education, will you aspire for that child that you will not be able to give that child if you have 232,000 US dollars per child? So this is how the rich think. The poor is thinking of how he's going to be working per month to pay school fees, but the rich create investment buckets that produce insane appreciation based on compounding interest, and that is how they pay the bills. That's how they live the large life. Okay, so imagine that Akasha hits $100 in the first year, not even in the second year, in the first year. And then imagine that when he hits the $100 in the first year, you turn off the note so that you begin to withdraw 2% every month. So if your portfolio reaches even $20,000 in the first year and you begin to withdraw monthly, turn off the note and begin to withdraw monthly, that's a completely different scenario entirely, which you're going to be making. That 2% you're going to be withdrawing is going to be a lot. It can feed you. You will not even need a job anymore. Okay, but I've not even gone to all those scenarios. Let's just focus on this 10-year scenario where you are not touching the node. Okay, but you could do the other scenarios. If Akasha hits $100 in the first year, or $100 in the second year, or $50 in the first year, and your value, your worth there is now maybe $10,000, and you're taking 2% out of the 5% that's producing. 5% of $10,000 is $500. Okay, so it produces 5%, produces 5% every month for you, and you take out $200. So if you're taking out $200 every month from Akasha, from your investment, and remember your original is still there, still compounding. Okay, $200 means you're going home with like 320,000 naira. At least in Africa, $200 that you're not working for is a good value. So, but if you had $100 deposit in your node with a $50 node, it is 400,000 US dollars. 464,000 US dollars. If you had $50 node with $250 deposit, it's $1,160,000, which is insane. If it hits $100 only $100 in the first 10 years. But what if Akasha hits $1,000 in 10 years because of utility and because of usage and because of demand and because of the use case, the real world use case around Akasha? What would it mean for you financially? That means that if every child had only $50 deposits in their $50 node, that child would be a millionaire in dollars. If the other child had $100 deposit, the child would be $4 million richer by the time the child is 18 years. If the child had $250 deposit in their node, the child will have 11 million US dollars in their node. So the question is, do your children, do your wife, do your family, do you? Because many times for us, we don't believe we deserve anything good. But let's assume we don't believe we deserve anything good. The question is, don't your children deserve it? Don't your children deserve it? Don't your children deserve it? So again, you could decide to go and buy. Now you've heard about Akasha, you can decide to just go and buy it by yourself and hold. Like I said, all you'll be doing is, even if the value reaches $1,000 and you have 50 units, that's $50,000. Okay, now that's fine. It looks like you made some serious money, but there's someone else who would have more money, because as at the time the person bought, if he bought 50 units like you or 33 units like you, by the time it would have reached $1,000, whenever it reaches, maybe the first year, second year, third year, fourth year, whenever it reaches $1,000, he would have more than the 33 units. That's the difference between owning a node and just going to go and buy the coin to be waiting to dump it. Like I said, I've lost money in scam schemes, and I can tell you this is a legit Bitcoin, so a legit crypto investment, has nothing to do with scam, and the choice is yours. Like I said, right now what you can do is to start where you are. All right, start where you are. Don't try to go and begin to say you want to look for money to do the very large plan. Okay, you don't. If you don't have $250, you don't have it. If you don't have $750, you don't have it. You don't need to borrow. But for the average African, I think $50, which is like 70 something thousand, you can get that. Okay, and then $50, you must not load your node completely. If you have the money to fill up your node, which is exciting. If you can't, you put $50 in your node. Okay, $30 in your node, $100 in your node. Put what you can, but start where you are. The most important thing is for you to enter now that Akasha is low. All right, now for those of you who have watched this presentation to the end and you're saying, I want to know the next step, I want you to help me, I want to start up, I want to load my node, click this link, bit.ly/AK Talks, and let us have a conversation. You can also use the button below to send me a direct message, and I'm willing to talk to you, and answer any questions that you have. This one is for you to book an appointment to talk to me, and the link below would add you to our group where you can also ask your questions. Okay, anyone works. You're also seeing my emails. You've seen my emails. You can reply to my email also, and I will take the conversation there with you. In my email, my WhatsApp number is there. You can send me a message and we can have a conversation. Anyone that works for you, by all means, let's talk soon.